Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome in to a fresh week here on Morning JOX. Conrad Van Order, Damian Mitchell here with you until 7 o'clock, as it is a jam-packed Monday here. So we appreciate you tuning in. If you're warm enough to tune in, because it is mighty cold outside. But I know a lot of you off of work today, out of school today for the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. So we appreciate you spending that time with us here this morning. And of course, a very special day honoring somebody that embodies, a lot of the greatest qualities that a man could have, and standing up for a lot of the greatest things that a human being could stand up for. And so it's a very special day here because not only is it Martin Luther King Jr. Day, it is also the National Championship Day, as Indiana and Miami will finally battle it out tonight in the final game of the college football season. And then we will officially put a cap in it and move on to 2026 and what's coming up in the spring, the fall, and beyond. So a lot for us to get to today. The transfer portal still active over the weekend because, yes, it was officially closed Friday at midnight, but players can still come out of the portal. And I saw over the weekend where even Pete Nakos put something out kind of just reminding everybody, hey, you might see some people who entered the portal as late as Wednesday, but that's because they filed it on Friday. It's just in order for the paperwork to go through and everything. So you still get, a couple days maybe of some names trickling out here and there, but a lot going on for both Alabama and Auburn this weekend as well. So we've got, again, just a lot to get to there, SEC hoops as well. But we do want to hear from you on this Final Score Monday. So Indiana and Miami, they will do battle tonight, and Miami at 6:30. And we want to hear from you, 205-834-9450. Do you think it's going to be a rout for Indiana like it has been all the way through the college football playoff? Or do you think that Miami and Carson Beck getting to play at home, maybe there's just a little bit of that extra magic in the air for them, that they're going to pull off the upset and do something that, I'll be honest, doesn't look super likely right now?
That's one way to put it. Yeah, I think
interesting.
I think a lot of people.
I feel like there's gonna be a majority.
Majority are leaning towards what we've seen for Indiana as the number one team in the nation, and what they've been able to do really since the playoffs have started. Man, like they just been going out there handling business. But this is the first team that I think pound for pound they can actually punch them in the mouth. It's all about how Indiana responds, and usually, from what we've seen, Indiana responds in a very positive manner. Which
yes, they do.
They start to weigh on you a little bit, but Miami's a little different animal. Like they're good, talented enough. They've got guys, they've got dudes all across the field for them. But it just does feel like the styles in which they both play, Indiana ain't really shy about. They're just, okay, if this is how this game is going to be, okay, we got you. And if they get up quick, then you're asking Carson Beck to go out there and win the game for you. And listen, I thought Ole Miss did a good job against him and making him beat you. Can he do it twice? That's the biggest question. He's played a ton of football, and I just think as we get closer to kickoff, I'm not saying that it's going to be just an absolute bloodbath, but if you told me that the game got a little one-sided, I'd believe you. And if you told me that it's a little closer than expected, I'd believe you as well, just because of the styles in which these two teams play. But it's I think it's going to be a good one tonight.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I think like most people, I hope it's competitive, right? I want it to be entertaining, and especially, you go back to, how great like the Ole Miss and Miami game was, and some of the other games we have, and then, you just, if you spend any time watching the NFL over the last 2 weekends, that's been some top-notch football. Absolutely fantastic.
You just don't want it to be
unless
Georgia.
You're the 49ers.
You don't want it to be Georgia TCU.
No, or Seattle and San Francisco the other night either. I don't want one of those games. So hopefully it's competitive, but we'll kind of break that one down for you, give you our final predictions and stuff coming up a little bit later on in the show. But you are free to send yours in all throughout the program, 205-834-9450 there on the Courtesy GMC text line. But before we look ahead to tonight in the national championship game, let's get you up to date on everything going on with Alabama and Auburn in the transfer portal, because it was a pretty successful weekend for both programs, if I do say so myself. So we've been keeping you up to date on 247, their transfer portal rankings. So as of right now, 6:05 a.m. here on January the 19th. Auburn has the 12th best transfer portal class in the in the country. They have 31 total commits now coming in through the portal. Alabama now, they are up to 18 with 15 commits. So certainly Auburn doing a fantastic job. You can tell they're 31. That's a lot of players that they have coming out. Just looking. LSU has 38, for example. Penn State has 36. Oklahoma State has 51. So again, all of these teams that are up there in the 30 plus range are the places that have new coaches coming in typically, which is what you would expect. But, I think Alex Golish and that staff have done a nice job so far. Obviously, a lot of them are USF guys coming over, but they've done a nice job of grabbing talent from other Power 4 programs as well. And we'll get to some of that here in a moment. And certainly a lot better if you're an Alabama fan this week than it was a week ago when we were telling you that I think they were 59th at this time a week ago in the transfer portal. Now you're up to 18. And with only 15 commits, which is on the lower end certainly of everybody else around you. So certainly a nice job there, and certainly a good weekend here to bounce back that we'll tell you about for Alabama and Kalen DeBoer in that staff. But we'll start with Auburn since they are the highest ranked. We'll go. That seems fair. So Auburn, again, they are the 12th best portal class in the country, 31 commits, and some of the big names from this weekend that committed to the Auburn Tigers. We told you about some of these guys last weekend, but a big one was edge rusher Deshaun Womack, from Ole Miss. That I'm never going to get that one straight. But again, that was a guy that a lot of Auburn people were very, very excited about. Again, he's had some years there at Ole Miss, so he has a little bit of experience, just hasn't really kind of carved out that role for him, and so they're hoping that they're able to go and really, a little bit, I think, as we brought up the comparison last week, but you look at these guys and you go, well, Xavier Atkins was that kind of a player, right? At an SEC program, got to play a little bit, but didn't have maybe the biggest role.
Mm-hmm.
Bring him to Auburn, put him in our program, develop him, give him a bigger role.
Yep. Sometimes you just need to change the scenery.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you're going to hit on those guys every time, but you'll certainly have a pretty good track record right now. So that's a nice pickup there for Auburn. They also landed another Ole Miss player, an offensive lineman by the name of T.J. Hedrick. That was kind of later on the day on Friday afternoon. So that's a nice pickup there. You also had from Arizona a safety in Jack Luttrell, who he came over in the portal, made that announcement yesterday. You had another offensive lineman, Jack Lyre. He comes from Stanford. And then a defensive back from Notre Dame, Scrap Robinson. That was another nice pickup there for Auburn over the weekend. So that right there, that's 5 Power 4 guys at positions of need, defensive line, offensive line, and in the secondary. Again, we'll see what kind of roles these guys carve out for themselves. But at least from a depth perspective, at the very least, I think that's a really nice haul right there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're Auburn, you feel good about what you did this weekend.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing for Auburn is going into 2026, this is going to look completely different. This is, just how college football is with the roster flip that you have year to year. Now you got a new head coach, new system, and now it's going to look a lot different than what it has in years past. And I think right now, while the names may not just jump out on you, I think it's going to take a little bit of time to kind of fill things out. But I think what Alex Golish is doing is just he's not taking the Hugh Freeze route of, we need the big name guys. We just need bodies. We need bodies, and I think the depth pieces that they're bringing in, like you said, to the point with a lot of Power 4 guys, and especially in the trenches, you can't have enough. And for what Auburn was lacking, especially on the offensive line, the more bodies you can get in there and the quicker you can get them in there, I think that you could start to see some things change over just for what Alex Golish and that offense is going to look like. DJ Durkin defensively, I think he's just a plug-and-play guy. I think no matter who you got out there, I think he can figure it out and work to their strengths. But you got a good group coming back, and also some of the names that they were able to get into the portal. I think it's going to be different because a lot of guys, quote-unquote, name value may have left, but now you're getting the quality of player that you need moving forward under this new regime and Alex Golish. But I think that right now, if you're Auburn, you got to feel pretty good with the talent that you're bringing in.
Yeah, certainly so. So, yeah, you just look at some of these guys. So Womack, the edge rusher, he's 6'5", 260. He's been at LSU and Ole Miss the last 3 years, now coming to Auburn. but he had this past year 2 sacks, forced a fumble, 14 tackles. So again, productive one on the field, just not a guy that I guess was a key cog on that defense there for Pete Golding this year. But you go and look at the offensive lineman that you go and get from Ole Miss and Hedrick. He's 6'4", 320. I mean, you've gone and gotten guys. We talked about Jacob Strand last week, 6'5", 302. Cole Best, 6'4", 315. That's the guy, or one of the guys that came over from USF. But I mean, they're going out, they're getting. I mean, these are football players. Like these are some big boys and some guys that they're expecting to certainly contribute very, very early on. Yeah, I mean, the guy from Stanford, 6'5", 300 you got this weekend. So certainly addressing the areas of need for Auburn, and we will going to be very fascinating to see what it looks like on the field this year with a lot of new moving parts. But that means a lot of certainly a lot of opportunities and a lot of reason for optimism and to be excited. All right, now for the Alabama side of things. So they are at number 18 in the portal rankings now, a few spots behind the Auburn Tigers, but a very nice weekend for Alabama. I think this is what a lot of fans had been waiting for because if there's been times during the portal over the last 2 weeks where you kind of go, man, does Alabama know the portal's open? Like, do they know that they can go and sign guys as well as letting them leave the program?
Give them some time, man. Give them some time.
Took a little while in some areas, and there's some guys that they were interested in that never made it to campus, and maybe altered some of their plans, but nonetheless a successful weekend overall for the Crimson Tide. So yesterday they landed a commitment from South Carolina edge rusher Desmond Umeozulu. I'm sorry if that's the best I can do for you.
Sounds about right.
Umeozulu, that's what we're going with there. But he's got 1 year of eligibility left there. But he's 6'6", 250 off the edge, 30 tackles, 1.5 sacks there in his career with South Carolina. So a guy that they certainly see some potential in for 1 year, come in and kind of fill out. Maybe that's a guy you can put opposite Yonsei Pierre. Maybe that's a guy that helps fill out the bandit spot. The LT Overton and Jordan Renaud and some of those guys have left behind as they move on in their careers. But you also got a couple of offensive linemen over the weekend. Ole Miss offensive lineman Ethan Fields. So Auburn gets an Ole Miss guy. Alabama gets an Ole Miss guy. But he's coming over there to help bolster the offensive line. Nick Brooks, we talked about him last week. He's a guard from Texas. Made 4 starts this year as a freshman there for the Longhorns. So a guy with SEC experience to help bolster that group as well. And then you also had a commitment from Oregon defensive lineman Terrence Green, who is one of the top 5 defensive linemen in the transfer portal. So certainly not a bad day there. 2 guys on the defensive line side and 2 guys on the offensive line side with some experience. So that certainly, I think, takes care of 2 of the bigger areas of need for Alabama as of right now with their roster. And you just kind of look at the numbers and based on what they did this weekend, they're probably pretty close to 85. Which is where they were last year. So it'll be interesting to see if they go and choose to make any further additions or if they're kind of set where they are now. But I did think this was interesting as well because while they didn't get another wide receiver from the portal, they did get one from the high school recruiting ranks, which I guess I just thought that we were all done with all of that. But they actually added a commitment from a 2026 receiver, Maurice Mathis. He went to Houston County High School in Georgia. He's 6'1", 180. And he had been committed to Samford for the last 6 months. And he got an offer from Alabama over the weekend. And
so now y'all infiltrating the hometown team. Wow, okay.
Didn't have that one on my bingo card, but yes, Alabama is flipping recruits from Samford in January now.
Interesting. Can't compete with the bag, man. I understand.
Well, I think they saw they had 6 guys in that room, and we need to add some numbers here. And hey, you want an opportunity? Come on, big fella.
No, but I mean, listen, I can't really fault him. And also, Sanford's going through a coaching change and stuff too, so he probably was kind of going with the hatch attack, especially at the receiver position too. So he's probably probably thinking, I'm about to get some touches here in the next couple of years. But when Alabama comes calling, it's hard to say no. So congratulations.
Yeah, so that's that for Alabama. And then they also got an announcement that wide receiver MJ Chergwin, who had been a walk-on, he had put his name in the transfer portal. He's now coming back on scholarship. So again, you now have 2 more pieces in that wide receiver room. And I think clearly they're just telling you they want guys they're familiar with. They want guys that fit their system. They just need bodies because I think they kind of like what they have in that room. But, you always need depth and guys that can rotate in there. And obviously, barring injury, certain things can happen as well. So that's your transfer portal update there. But again, a nice weekend for both Alabama and Auburn. Some big-time pickups there on both sides of the trenches for both programs. And I think you have to feel a lot better if you're an Alabama fan now about where they've gone in the portal. And if you're an Auburn fan, I think you continue to be impressed with the success that Alex Golesh and his staff have had so far this offseason. But that's kind of your wrap up there with everything going on in the transfer portal. And, of course, we'll keep you up to date on anything if it breaks throughout the day today across all of our programming. But we had a lot else going on this weekend, Damian. We had some great SEC hoops action on Saturday. We had some fantastic NFL playoff action as well. So let's take a look back, recap the highlights from the weekend that was across SEC hoops and the NFL. That's next here on Morning Jocks.
And ESPN Radio Extra Point with Aaron Goldhammer.
Let's say instead of winning 10 and going to the playoffs, the Steelers had cratered and they made a coaching change, but they're still the Steelers. Let's say it's the Giants that's up there and not the Jets. They just have a better brand for not being incompetent and ruining quarterback lives. If you're Dante Moore, you look at Sam Darnold, what he is doing in Seattle. You look at what Geno Smith did with his career when he left the Jets. You look at Aaron Rodgers leaving the Jets and going to the playoffs with the Steelers. You got to be sitting there saying to yourself, this place is where quarterbacks go to absolutely die, regardless of whatever I can do, because the Jets have no idea how to handle quarterbacks, and I would rather play in college for another year than deal with the responsibility of trying to single-handedly turn around maybe the most incompetent franchise in professional sports. I do think the Jets had a lot to do with why Dante Moore made the decision.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
JOX Traffic from the Train Traffic Center, the most trusted name in HVAC.
Fighting for all veterans, serving our community, and adapting to support today's veterans where they are. That's life after service. That's the VFW. Get involved at stillserving.org.
Welcome back into Morning Jocks. Conrad Van Order, Damian Mitchell here with you as we are recapping the weekend that was and getting you set for the national championship game tonight between Indiana and Miami, a 6:30 kickoff. And we will, of course, have our full reaction to that coming up tomorrow. We're also going to give you our final thoughts and our predictions on that game coming up here in about 10 minutes on the program. But before we get into the game tonight and give you our thoughts there, let's take a look back at a fantastic weekend, whether you were watching SEC basketball, NFL playoffs, what have you. You were thoroughly entertained. So we'll start on the hardwood on Saturday, and we'll start with Alabama as, man, something about going to Norman, Oklahoma, you're happy with the end result, I guess, this year, but it's never fun, right?
Yeah.
It's never smooth sailing. It's always
difficult.
It's always difficult. It absolutely is. And Oklahoma made it very difficult for Alabama basketball on Saturday. So Oklahoma, they go up 44-33 at halftime. Just nothing's really going well for Alabama, playing sloppy basketball, not making shots, turning the ball over. It wasn't what it just wasn't a good performance, right? They just looked like a team that was going on the road that was a little tired.
And the free throws.
The free throws have
that was disgusting.
And I don't understand why, but for some reason it feels like every year we talk about that with Nate Oates and his teams. Like the free throws just have always been a little bit of an issue. Free throws and turnovers. Those are always seem to be like two common themes with his teams where when they lose football or basketball games, you just kind of can look at those categories. But yeah, Alabama shoots 58% from the free throw line, 15 of 26.
It's not good.
No, especially not when Oklahoma goes 86% and they go 19 of 22. So fortunately, they didn't kill you in that regard. Otherwise, they would have won the basketball game. But yeah, certainly not good there. So Alabama, they shoot 58% from free throw line, 30% from deep. But fortunately, Oklahoma,
they couldn't buy a shot.
No, they weren't doing anything offensively on the day there. And so you had a couple of former Bama players. Darion Reed had himself a pretty nice game. He had 16 points and 9 rebounds there for the Sooners, so that was good to see for him. Mo Wagi, he had 6 points, 6 rebounds there on the night there. But Xavier Brown, he led the way for the Sooners, 21 points. And that was the guy. He's 8 of 9. He was shooting like 90. I think him and Millette were both like 93 or 94% from the free throw line. So they were absolute money there. But just not quite enough for Oklahoma as Alabama was able to really go on a run there in the second half and kind of pull away and hold on to that game. In the very final seconds, I mean, Oklahoma was going to have a shot. I mean, the fact that you fouled on a 3-point shot attempt with, 10 seconds left in the game and gave an opportunity to where there just never should have been an opportunity in that game where Oklahoma had the ball with a chance to win the game in the final seconds, which they did and they missed. But, yeah, there's definitely a lot you can take away from that game if you're Nate Oates as a coaching moment. But, again, I think if you're just Alabama, you're happy to get a road win. You're still banged up. I mean, no Reitzel, no Bristow. Like, you've got a number of key guys that are still hurt for you. But LeBaron Philon has 23 points. Aiden Sherrill has 21. And that's good enough to get out of Norman with an 83-81 victory. So Alabama now 13-5 on the year, 3-2 in the SEC, and they have the week off. They'll be back in action on Saturday against Tennessee.
So
that should be a fun one.
So that's not the third Saturday in January, is it? No, this past weekend was the third Saturday.
That would be the third Saturday. Yeah, it would be the third.
It would be the third. Would it? Hold on, let me look at the calendar real quick.
Something like that. That would actually be pretty fit. And looky there.
This past Saturday was the third Saturday.
Okay. Well, fourth Saturday
in January.
January. It's different for basketball.
Do y'all bust out cigars? I mean, do we bust out cigars when we beat Tennessee in basketball?
I don't know. You're an Ole Miss fan, so I don't know.
No, that's in football. I'm talking about basketball.
Oh, we're doing that.
Well, you know I'm a big Alabama guy when it comes to basketball, man. I'm a Nate Oates fanatic, bro. Threes and getting to the cup, that's all I know. Big 3-point shooter guy. Mm-hmm. Huge.
No, we don't smoke cigars.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know. I just, I didn't know if that was part of the tradition as well. My apologies.
It's okay. You've been wrapped up in your other fandom for
right. I'm just shaking the cobwebs off, man. Just shaking the cobwebs off.
That's disgusting. But anyways, we move on. And hey, it wasn't a good weekend for Tennessee in basketball. I'll just say that.
Lord, no.
But nonetheless. But how about the Auburn Tigers? Because they were also in action on Saturday, and they were at home instead of on the road, and they got to host South Carolina. And Auburn, credit to them. They took care of business. Credit South Carolina for making it interesting late, right? And going there and,
yeah.
Again, probably a game that if you're Auburn, maybe it shouldn't have gotten that interesting late in the game.
They
But
can't shoot.
congratulations, South Carolina. Well, it's the same problem in the they went 1 for 8 the other night.
Man.
And their last game, like
They can't
in the
buy
last 2
one.
minutes. Yeah.
They can't buy one. And to me, I don't know whether, and again, no offense to Stephen Pearl, because this is like jumping into the head coaching role at a school like this. I mean, I don't think he genuinely was prepared for just how big of a jump this was going to be the head man. And I understand that the roster may not be what it has been when Bruce was there. But man, like I don't know what Auburn can really do. And I made this comparison the other day. They almost have to play like Houston. They have got to just be solid defensively and just figure it out athletically on the offensive side. If it becomes just because I think Keyshawn Hall, I think he can be a go-to guy. Tahad Pettiford, the way he plays basketball just doesn't necessarily gel well because he's a streaky shooter. It's one of those moments where, okay, if he gets hot, he gets hot. But I don't know if he's a shot creator, if that makes sense. Like, I think he's athletic enough to get to the cup, and he's left-handed, so it just kind of throws you off a little bit. But as far as just being a go-to guy, I don't think Auburn has that right now. Now, Big Phillip, now he turned up. He's like, okay, well, if anybody else going to make a shot, I got you down here in the block. But I don't know what they're going to do as conference play starts to ramp up, because I do think defensively they have enough length to body up just about anybody. But offensively, man, they have got to find something that they can just hang their hat on.
And I think, and I hate to put it all on one person, because it's not all on one person. Obviously, it's a team effort and everything. But I do just feel like overall for this team, a lot of it has come down to, Tahad Pettiford hasn't been the player that you thought he was going to be. And I think also not only, from an on-the-court perspective, but also from a leadership perspective, is I think you kind of, like, if you, this is just me, I don't know, but if I'm Stephen Pearl, right, I'm coming into the year going, all right, this is like my guy, right? Like, this is, what I would think is probably my best player. He's probably the leader of the team, right? Like, you're kind of thinking that he's going to be that everything guy for you, and he hasn't been. And so not only is he struggling on the court, you're now having to call out because you're not having leadership on the team, and a guy that you probably thought was going to step up, now he isn't maybe stepping up because he's struggling with some stuff because he's not playing very well. And like, it feels like a lot of it, again, not to put it all on one kid because that's not fair, but it just feels like maybe that encapsulates a lot of their problems, is just what you have got, or I guess what you haven't really gotten from Todd Pettiford this year. But I mean, you mentioned Keyshawn Hall. He's averaging 30 points a game, a week ago in his last 2 or 3 times out on the court. And now, the other night, 14 minutes, 8 points. Like, you just
got to get
like,
something.
it's great if you can give me 30 most nights, but like,
yeah.
I don't need you to give me 30 every night, but like, can you give me 18? Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? I like it, when you're going from 32 points to 8 points to back and forth, like, it can be hard to count on. But you mentioned it. I mean, Phil Bjovich, he goes for 23, 9 of 12 shooting on the night for him. So he led the way for Auburn, and they are able to squeak out a 67 win over the Gamecocks. They shot 11% from three-point range, 2 of 19.
That's disgusting.
It is, but you found a way to win the basketball game. And
oh yeah,
South Carolina's not a very good team, and
that's the key. That's the problem. You can't play this poor against a Vanderbilt. When you play Arkansas again, like, you can't play like this.
No, you're right.
Against better teams and think you're going to come out with a victory, because it
won't happen.
Numbers like that ain't going to get it done.
No, you're absolutely right. But Auburn has a chance to get back up on that horse tomorrow, as they will be on the road in Oxford taking on Damien's Ole Miss Rebels at 8:00 on ESPN.
I'm not an Ole Miss basketball fan. I'm a big Alabama guy. And when it comes to basketball,
Auburn and Damien's Ole Miss Rebels, again, that is tomorrow night in Oxford at 8:00. There we'll see if Auburn can get back-to-back wins in SEC play. Quickly, just kind of keeping you updated on everything else that we mentioned it briefly, but Kentucky, they stormed back. They were down 11 at halftime They come back to beat Tennessee on the road 80-78. You had Florida going to Vanderbilt. This was a fantastic game. Florida, they hang on 98-94 to knock off the Commodores there. So, again, a fantastic basketball game there. LSU, they get their first SEC win of the season. They beat Missouri at home. Texas A&M, they take down Texas in a great rivalry game there. And then Damien's favorite team, Ole Miss, they pull off a 68-67 win over their rivals, Mississippi State. So, all in all, a very exciting weekend of college basketball around the Southeastern Conference. But unfortunately, we won't be talking about the SEC much tonight because they're not playing in the game tonight. But we do have the national championship game just mere hours away, about 12 hours away exactly almost, as Indiana and Miami will do battle there at Hard Rock. We've got to give you our predictions and our final thoughts on tonight's national championship game. We'd also love to hear from you. 205-834-9450. Get your score predictions into the courtesy GMC text line, and we break it all down for you next on Morning Jocks.
Transform your home with granite countertops from Global Remodeling. Our stunning granite, marble, and quartz countertops are the perfect touch for any kitchen or bathroom makeover. Whether you're dreaming of a beautiful new kitchen, a spa-like bathroom, or a classy remodel project, the Global Remodeling team is here to make it happen. Call Global Remodeling at 205-240-9357 to refine your space with the elegant countertops it deserves.
Progressive knows life takes you in many directions.
Bear right at exit 32, then begin to wonder why you never bought a fish tank. In 1.3 miles, you'll realize you've been mispronouncing epitome your whole life. At the roundabout, you will remember you said something at dinner you wish you hadn't, and will think about it for decades. You have arrived at your destination, but it turns out there really is no destination, and life just keeps going.
Wherever life takes you, protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your nature-made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Welcome into Morning Jocks here on your Monday as we honor Martin Luther King Jr. Day here across the United States of America. And we also get prepared for tonight as it will be the national championship game between Indiana and Miami as they will do battle there in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium. And we'll see if that magic works in the Hurricanes' favor, right? The home crowd behind them, even though I think a lot of people expect that you very well may have more Indiana fans there than Miami fans, even though it is literally in their home city. We saw Indiana fans take over Atlanta just a couple weeks ago, so should be a lot of fun tonight. And me and Damien about to deliver our picks to you. But first, flu season is here, as you couldn't tell if you went outside this morning because it's freezing. But you want to make your home healthier with Trane's Clean Effects Home Air Cleaner. It removes up to 99.9% of airborne particles, including those causing virus. It's 100 times more effective than standard air filters and 8 times more effective than HEPA room filters. So go find a dealer near you online today at Trane.com. All right, Damien, let's break this one down for you tonight. Indiana and Miami, as the number stands right now that I'm looking at, Indiana is a 7.5-point favorite over Miami. The over-under is 47.5 is what I'm looking at right now for the total tonight. And I think going into this one, a lot of people, as we talked about, Damien, they're expecting that it's going to be an Indiana blowout. And I think the one thing that you saw Alabama did it really their first defensive drive against Indiana, and then it kind of went away after that. But they were able to sack Fernando Mendoza, and that's something that teams have not been able to do at all really this year. I think that's the thing for Miami is coming into this game. Not only, I'll be the first one to say this, right? They had a good defense this year, but I think you also looked at a lot of their numbers and the competition they played, and you went, okay, well, they put up really good numbers against a bunch of ACC offenses, which is what they did. But I think they've now proven in the postseason that, man, all right, this defense is legitimate, right? You go back and look at what they did against a team like Ohio State, for example, right? And then you go back and what you were able to do against Ole Miss, where, yes, Ole Miss had success moving the football and scoring, but ultimately at the end of the day, your defense did just enough to keep you alive and give you a chance to win that football game. Have to be the case again tonight, right? Is your defense is going to have to be excellent. Ruben Bain is going to have to be, the terror that he has been all season long. You're going to probably need, whether it's a Keontae Scott pick six like in the Ohio State game or something like that, you're probably going to need your defense to pick you up a little bit and get you some points on the board, or at least get you a couple of turnovers. And again, that's just where Indiana's been so good at the fundamentals, right? They protect the football. They're really, really good at getting extra yardage. They're very disciplined. They're not going to be heavily penalized. They just do all of the little things very, very well. And so if you're Miami, how do you disrupt that, right? How do you put them in a spot where they don't do the little things very well? Because that's kind of the one thing it feels like for Indiana that we haven't seen here is, well, what happens if they get into a game where maybe they turn the ball over a couple of times, or maybe there's a couple of uncharacteristic penalties, right? You get an unsportsmanlike conduct here. You get a roughing the passer here, type thing that can extend a drive and lead to points for Miami. Not saying those are going to happen because, again, Indiana doesn't let those things happen. But what if it does? I think those are the questions you ask yourself if you are Miami. And then obviously on the offensive side for them, right? Running the football is so key. Alabama couldn't do it. Oregon couldn't do it. Indiana, a better running team than both of them. But Miami is certainly going to have to, Fletcher's going to have himself a big day. It feels like if they're going to have a chance. You're probably going to want to see Tony get involved in the run game. Carson Beck ran for the winning touchdown against Ole Miss, right? Is that something that you can use to your advantage? Because Indiana's not going to want you to run the football. But if you're Miami, you have to be able to run the football. So it's going to come down to a lot of that. Carson Beck, protect the football, maybe make Mendoza make a mistake or two, which we've seen him do at times this year. I think that's your recipe for success, but it's really, really hard. I think everybody that's watched these teams this year to look at this game and go, yeah, I don't see Indiana winning by at least probably 10 points. But that's why you play the game on the field, Damien, and not on a piece of paper. So those are kind of my thoughts on the game. I don't know where you differ or where you agree with that, but I mean, I'm taking Indiana. I'll take them by about 10 points. I hope that it's a close game, at least in the first half, maybe, right? And then in the second half, maybe Indiana goes up and kind of holds on to a 2-score lead. But I'll take Indiana minus 7.5. They're really, really good, man.
Yeah, I think the most difficult part about this game is it's almost like you're trying to convince yourself that Miami can make it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, you're going to need help from Indiana. If the biggest thing is Indiana starts fast, and when they jump out on you, it's so hard because they don't beat themselves. And I think that's one of the key reasons why Indiana has been as good as they have been all season long is that they don't make mistakes. They don't have self-inflicted wounds. They're, one of the least penalized teams. They're, they're high in turnover differential. Like everything that you want in a great team, Indiana has. So if you're Miami, it's almost just kind of, standing up to the bully of the block and just hitting them straight in the mouth. Until you show that you can do it, it's just hard for me not to think that Indiana isn't just going to run away with it at some point. Fernando Mendoza, Heisman Trophy winner, he's been spectacular in the college football playoffs. What can Miami do to, cause some sort of disruption? Like you said, Ruben Bain, this is your last game. So, go out there and just ball out.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to disrupt them in so many ways. I don't know if they have it. And I don't think, not to say that Indiana doesn't have a counter to a lot of those things. They're not going to be worried about, these third and long situations. Okay, yeah, we may be backed up a little bit, but nothing's going to fluster them. I think Indiana is to me, Indiana is the better team until proven otherwise. And a lot of it has to just do with the fact they don't beat themselves. They don't run from adversity, and they jump out on teams so quickly that, okay, even if they don't, even if Miami were to steal a possession here or, cause them, a little frustration early on, it still doesn't feel like they have enough tools in the shed to stop Indiana consistently. Yeah. So I'm with you. I think Indiana wins by at least 10, if not more. But I do think it's a competitive ball game, but Indiana starts to separate themselves late in that ball game where Miami is going to be forced to say, Carson Beck, you got to go out here and win it for us. And I don't believe that he can do that against what Indiana presents defensively. And even on the offensive side, it's until Fernando Mendoza makes a mistake, how can you go against what they do offensively?
I was about to say, if I'm going to be wrong, I'll happily be wrong betting on the team that's 15-0 and absolutely slaughtered most of the teams that they played this year. But again, I think another thing for Indiana is you just go and, okay, the Alabama game, it was close, it was competitive early on, and then they just, they hit another gear and just it took off right after they got that turnover and Ty Simpson fumbled the ball. That was it. Then you go to the Oregon game, you get the pick six on the first play, you're like, oh man, they're about to be cruising. Then credit to Oregon, right? They go down, score a touchdown, make it 7-7, and you're thinking, here we have a ball game. No, that's when the gears switched and they went, all right, no, we're about to leave you in the dust. Yeah. And that's exactly what they did. So even if you're Miami and you're like, end of the first quarter, it's a tie game or a 3-point game and you're feeling good, you then kind of look back and go, oh yeah, we've seen this before. And then, what's to say that they're not about to tear it up? But if you are a Miami fan, in the last 6 weeks, both of these teams have played a common opponent. And Indiana beat that team by 3 and Miami beat them by 10. So if you want to play the transitive property game, maybe that's will give you some confidence as you beat Ohio State more definitively than Indiana did.
Yeah.
I still think Indiana's going to win this game pretty handsomely, but I'm just throwing it all out there.
Yeah, just, so you're telling me there's a chance.
I'm telling you that there is a chance, and I am just throwing it all out there for you. So me and Damian, we both like Indiana minus the 7.5. We like them both by about 10 points, something like that tonight over the Hurricanes, but hopefully it'll be a fantastic time there as, again, the national championship game tonight at 6:30 there on ESPN live from Miami, and we'll have full recap reaction for you here on the program tomorrow. But we asked you, and some of you have obliged at 205-834-9450, some of your score predictions for the game tonight. We'd love to hear from you. You riding with the Hoosiers, or are you like Bam Hater and you think the U is going to make a big return tonight and a big upset over Indiana? We get to your score predictions next on a Reaction Monday here on JOX.
This report is sponsored by Allstate.
Well, we have a stall on 2059 westbound before I-20, before exit 130. Old Springville Road is closed for road work today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. We hope to have it reopened by Thursday. It's closed between Roberts Drive and Shadow Lake Drive, and I'm Phil Carter in the traffic center.
Happy football season. Landrum Roberts here to tell you about our friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is still the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users just like me and sign up today. Prize Picks is really simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get those picks right, you could cash in. Right now, you can cash in by simply downloading the Prize Pick app today using code WJOX, and you're going to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5. You don't even have to win. That's right. Code WJOX to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, whether it's professional football, whether it's from the college ranks, they have something for everyone, and not just football, but across all sports. Once again, download the app today. Use code WJOX to get the $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Don't forget about Prize Picks, max discounts, and other specials they run throughout the week. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
Hello, I'm Bill, a family caregiver speaking on behalf of the Dementia Society of America. Request our free guide. It includes information on dementia care and much more. Go to 1-800-DEMENTIA.org or call 1-800-DEMENTIA. Thank you.
$6:50 here on Morning Jocks. Damian and Conrad here with you for a few more moments as we get you set for McElroy and Kubelik in the morning coming up at the top of the hour. Of course, we want to continue to hear from you, 205-834 9450, and your final scores for the national championship. Let me tell you about our friends at Hometown Roofing and Restorations. Trust the experts for your roofing needs with over 1,200 roofers in the Birmingham area. Make sure you call on somebody you can trust. Hometown Roofers is family-owned, grounded in faith, and community-oriented. Their customer satisfaction focused with your needs in mind, so you can count on honest communication. The goal is to get it right the first time. If it's an insurance claim, call Hometown and they'll take the ball for you, so you don't have to worry about any of that red tape back and forth with the insurance company. Only top-notch materials. Hometown is certified with 2 of the best national brands of shingle, and they offer lifetime material warranties. Financing is available. Wonder if you got a sign of an aging roof or a roof damage? Hometown offers free inspections. Rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. Hometown Roofing and Restorations can also handle siding, windows, gutters, and minor remodels. Give them a call at 205-984-4777 or htroofers.com. Again, that's 205-984-4777 or visit their website at htroofers.com. Hometown Roofing and Restorations. Do it right the first time.
Well, we didn't have time today to get to a great weekend of NFL playoff action, but I did want to give a shout out to former Auburn quarterback Bo Nix and leading the Denver Broncos to the AFC Championship in his second season there in the National Football League. Unfortunately, did suffer an ankle injury in that game, so he will be out the rest of the way. But the good news, if you're an Auburn fan, is that you get to watch another former quarterback now, and Jarrett Stidham lead the Broncos in the AFC title game against the Patriots. So just wanted to give a shout-out there to Bo Nix for a great start to his NFL career and a couple of Auburn QBs getting an opportunity to play for a Super Bowl. And it feels like 10 years ago when the Broncos and Patriots were playing in the AFC Championship game with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. And now here we are with Drake May and Jarrett Stidham. It's the same thing, right?
Looks a lot different than he used to be.
Just a little bit different there. But let's get to your text here as we close out the show, because some of you did send in score predictions, and we want to get to those. So on the Courtesy GMC text line, Jamie chimes in, says Indiana finishes them off 38-21 tonight, so 17-point win there over Miami. Okay. Let's see. This one says from Bammer Abroad, says a generational run from Indiana. I hope they've had their fun this year because it won't last. But I do have the Hoosiers 38, Miami 24. So Indiana gets another prediction in their favor tonight. Don, he says Indiana 24, Miami 10.
Okay.
And he's a Miami fan, so you know that's real unbiased reporting there. I appreciate that from Don. This one says, I hope Indiana wins just so Bama Hater loses.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
I think there might be a few people that
feel free to hate watch.
Feel that way when they are watching the game tonight. Let's see. Callum says Miami wins 23-19. Mendoza gets sacked at least 6 times and throws at least 1 interception.
That is that is what we call an absolute just decline. Like that is something that is unlike Indiana if that happens.
Well, tell me if you like this one more. This one says Indiana can't run the ball on Miami's defense because it's going to be a low-scoring game. Miami is going to win 28-17.
All right.
I just read them.
All right.
I just read them. That would be something.
Oh, 100%.
Let's see. This one comes in from Clay. It says, if they start calling holding because Indiana bear hugs players on every play, especially the tackles, then I don't know that they can beat anyone.
Oh, boy. Here we go. Penalty vultures. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the holding calls. Come on, man.
Uh-huh.
Stop.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, it is what it is. This text, do y'all think it's a joke that Mendoza won the Heisman? I do not.
No.
I think he's played better since he won the Heisman than,
right.
Like, if you weren't sold on him and now you just started watching him play, be like, oh, okay, I kind of see what the...
Yeah, just watch the Oregon game again.
He's pretty good, man. And I get it. No, is he as flashy as a Cam or a Baker or Manziel or...
Mariota.
Lamar Jackson?
Yeah,
or
Mariota.
Jameis.
Yeah, Mariota.
No, he's not, but he's a darn good football player.
He puts the ball right where it needs to be.
He is a darn good football player. That he is. So we appreciate you chiming in. We'll have full recap reaction for you tomorrow as we officially close the book on the 2025 college football season. Will Indiana climb to the top of the mountain, or will Miami take them down at the very end? Can't wait to watch tonight We're back tomorrow.